Story 1. Being consistent means showing up, replying to messages, and making plans, even if they are small. Most friendships fall apart due to pure neglect, not drama. Just keep showing up. Story 2. Being authentically myself. I stopped seeking friendships based on expectations and became friends with those I felt naturally drawn to. I appreciate genuine people. Story 3. The question is about friendships formed in their 20s, so feel free to ignore this because it is about high school friendships. It is relevant to me right now because I am with 7 of my high school friends on our mini reunion vacation in Maine, plus 3 others who lamented they could not come this year. We are all 63 years old and have been doing this reunion for quite a few years. We were one big group in high school and were good friends then. I joined the Air Force, everyone else went to different universities, most in Massachusetts, one in Maine, and one in Oregon. We always stayed in contact. 2 couples within the group have been married for a long time. All of us have children, most have grandchildren, half are retired, all have lost parents, and 2 have lost children. Subsets of the group have traveled together and do other activities together, but we remain a big core group. I am sitting here on vacation listening to the friends chatter in the other room. I do not know how it happened, but my life is better because of it. Story 4. I went to a friend's party and adopted an introvert. He is my gym partner now. Since he lived nearby, I had a gym membership with a partner pass. He said it would have been awkward to say no when I asked him to lift weights with me. Story 5. You have to invest time and effort. Reach out. Be kind. Find something you enjoy that meets regularly and go often. Be patient. Forming friendships can take months or years of regular contact. Alternatively, do something that involves a lot of contact over a shorter time, like a shared house or intensive language course. If you are invited to do or attend something, say yes, even if you are not sure you will like it. Story 6. 2 things changed for me. I picked 1 to 2 weekly activities and showed up every time, climbing, gym, and trivia, and I actually followed up with same time next week. 3 months later, we had a group chat, Sunday potlucks, and a hiking crew. Consistency and small invitations. Story 7. Late 20s is when I stopped waiting for friends to happen and started scheduling it. I joined a weekly 5-a-side football game via a local social media group, always stayed for a post-game drink, and by the 3rd month we were doing hikes and celebrating birthdays. I made 2 more close friends at a free co-working day while freelancing. The common thread was consistency. Show up every week, say yes to the second hangout, and start a small recurring event so people have an excuse to keep meeting. Story 8. Show up. Make plans yourself instead of waiting for someone else to do it. Do not cancel even if you are sick, tired, or have a migraine. Be open to new friends. You will not realize you need them until too many old friends have moved away, changed jobs, or only spend time with their children, and then it becomes harder to integrate. Story 9. In my 40s, only 1 friendship has lasted, 3 if I count very rare calls or communication with others. 1 friend and I joke and harass each other. He calls me on his way to work to chat, and sometimes I do the same. Takes little effort but is worth it. He has supported me through a terrible custody battle, financial ruin, and now I am back again and rising. Good guy. We all went to college together. We used to party, fish a lot, and hang out. I was ready to move on with life then, but now I look back on those times as some of the most genuine, fun, and relaxing moments I ever had, hungover from the night before, watching the sunrise, over the Gulf while fishing, joking, telling stories, and just enjoying the moment. We would drive back so we could all make it home for work and class on Monday, only stopping to eat at tucked-away mom-and-pop restaurants along the way and picking on each other. Story 10. Whenever a friend reaches out to me in need, I show up. Whether it is, hey, I really need help moving, my car battery is dead, or my car is getting repossessed, I show up. I also make plans, invite everyone, and make everyone feel seen and heard. I listen to them more than I talk. Now I have a small group of people who really care about me and are there when I need them as well. Story 11. We met on an overseas holiday with a group of mutual friends. We liked each other more than we liked all our mutual friends. Story 12. Consistent effort to show up in some capacity even when life gets in the way, which goes hand in hand with a genuine curiosity about their lives and the people they are becoming. Also, just being a good person and finding good people too, which makes the friendship feel more stable and grounded. Story 13. Patience, be consistent, and also be real. No friendship can last without patience. The most important thing is opening up with your friend if you are not okay with something, because hiding your discomfort will silently kill the relationship. But talking is magic. Story 14. I did 2 years of AmeriCorps with 2 different crews. We built trails, tent pads, retaining walls, and more. We worked in local, state, and national parks in every corner of Texas and beyond. We did habitat restoration for endangered species and invasive species removal. We tutored children together, led campers at summer camp, and held potlucks twice a month or more. We shared many good times and hard times, both personally and professionally. In all that time, we became lifelong friends. Now, 15 years later, they are some of the people I feel closest to in my whole life. Story 15. I can honestly state that I do not. In high school, I had friends. Following graduation, we all parted ways. After high school, I never made any friends. I am not in my 20s, not in my 30s, and definitely not in my 40s. I really do not have anyone. Story 16. Show up to events even when it is Friday night and you would rather be at home watching streaming services. Invite people over after the hike or happy hour, even when your place is a bit messy. Story 17. Get used to doing things you are not especially interested in or trying new activities entirely. Even if you meet someone in a shared interest space, there is a good chance they have interests you do not share. Being willing to attend those activities simply for exposure to the person is what will make a new friendship last. You may get 1 or 2 excuses before you no longer receive invites, so do not be that person. Story 18. I just show up when I get an invitation, but honestly, I am not good at catching up. I feel like I want to be alone for now. Story 19. I have always had friends since childhood, but have never been able to make a new friend in my 20s. Story 20. I went out and did things regularly. For me, it was going skateboarding and attending dance classes. I am also quite active in the music festival community in my city, so I naturally meet a lot of people. Story 21. Getting sober. I am a better friend now and feel that I deserve better friends whom I actually enjoy spending time with. Story 22. Being honest about who you are. Healthy communication among the friend group. Sharing the same values. Humor. Saying, I love you. Being there for each other when someone needs advice or help in life. Story 23. I think my people felt sorry for me and just let me depend on them, hoping I would go away. For the most part, I did, getting into my 40s. Story 24. Be present. Put in the work. Do not just be there for the good times and leave when things get tough. Story 25. For me, it has been lots of laughs, honest conversations, being real, and just staying consistent. We also do not use our phones when we hang out. It is about being present and enjoying each other's company. Story 26. I had many friends in my teens and 20s, but lost touch with many of them due to moving, career focus, and other reasons in my late 20s to early 30s. Over the last few years, I have started making new friends in my town through other parents who live in the area. I went out of my way to form a dad's group, and now I probably spend time 2 to 4 times a week with people I know through this network. Make friends with your child's friends' parents that you like the most. Story 27. Making sure you and your friends share overlapping hobbies and values is important. Otherwise, the relationship becomes one-sided. Believe it or not, making sure your boundaries are stronger than your empathy is crucial. This alone eliminates weak or parasitic friendships. Story 28. Recreational sports can be a club or any group activity. It is about regularly meeting people and getting to know them. When you really start connecting with someone, go for a meal before or after the activity. The rest is maintenance. Stay in touch, offer help when needed or requested, and keep the relationship going. Story 29. Nothing was forced. We showed up when it mattered, gave each other space when needed, made plans without pressure, and let things grow naturally. Story 30. Emotional openness, patience for other people, compassion, showing initiative, frequent contact, similar interests, and challenging each other are important. By challenging each other, I mean having opposite opinions or feelings about something and discussing them in a healthy way. Communication is essential. Everyone says communication is key in romantic relationships, but it applies to any relationship in my opinion. There is probably some luck involved as well. People who could realistically become your best friends are few and far between. Story 31. Festivals. Every year I gain a handful of new friends. Usually current friends bring someone along, and it has grown into quite a large friendship group. Story 32. Mutual vulnerability. The best friendships start when we stop pretending we have it all figured out. Story 33. Showing up, really listening, and communicating honestly, even when it is hard or uncomfortable, is what made my friendships deep and lasting in my 20s. Story 34. Staying open and saying yes to things, even when it felt a bit awkward, really helped me build solid friendships. Story 35. I had to keep reminding myself, they're not my best friend yet. Anytime we didn't find the same thing funny, agree on something, or had to cancel plans, I asked myself if this was my future best friend, would I continue to be put off by these things or accept them? For some, I realized our differences were too many, and I couldn't be close with them. For others, I saw there were only hiccups because we didn't know each other well enough yet. Now that I do know them well enough, we're thick as thieves. An example is my current best friend. I moved to a big city after college, and she was the first one I met. We didn't get along well at first. It was awkward, but I could see glimpses of a true friendship when we hung out. Now that we're closer, I found out she has a demanding job where she constantly has to watch what she says and how she acts around strangers. She feels like she can't be herself until she knows she's in a safe space. If I had written her off immediately, I would have missed out on a really great person. We're practically attached at the hip now. Story 36. Being loyal and honest, having humor, showing some empathy, and not speaking out things that are only hurtful or cannot be used for an argument. I have one amazing friend, one other great friend, and some other good friends whom I can trust. I do not have a single friend from below 11th grade at school. Story 37. Just showing up. Whether it was birthdays, breakups, or boring random nights, just being there made all the difference. Story 38. I picked up a new hobby and made really good friends from it. It is about being consistent and actually seeing each other. Story 39. Limiting it to just a few. Also, having no qualms with slowly breaking off friendships that are one-sided. I had a friend who was always frugal. No problem, I get it. But his frugality extended to every transaction. He was a new homeowner and would ask for help with something. I would help, no questions asked. He did that a handful of times until one day I asked for help with a project. His reply was, "I will help you if you help me with this other project." At that moment, it all kind of coalesced into wow. I always thought he was frugal, but it was more about him being on the winning side of every transaction. I realized that any time we shared something, it was never 50-50 on anything. He always had to input the least amount of work, money, effort, time, and so on. He is a successful business owner now, and all I can wonder is, how many people has he taken advantage of or overcharged? Story 40. I joined the military at 18 and served overseas during wartime. We were just kids pretending to be men, relying on each other to survive. That kind of bond goes deeper than blood. Now, more than 20 years later, 3 of us reunited for a birthday, our wives, children, and even the family pets all under one roof. None of that would have happened if we had not leaned on each other back then. We are brothers, plain and simple. Now that I am on the other side of 40, I have learned you can still build strong friendships. The key is to do something hard, something that challenges you physically, mentally, or spiritually. Something that forces growth and brings people together through struggle. When you find those people, do not fear the differences. Embrace them. True friendship, like family, takes patience, forgiveness, and grace. Wishing you the best in finding your tribe. Story 41. I just turned 50. I have formed strong friendships in my 20s, 30s, and 40s that are still going. What worked best for me was numbers. Be pleasant and curious to everyone you meet. You find the people you connect with in all sorts of places. Don't be shy about telling people you really enjoy their company, as long as it is genuine. Don't waste energy on people who are bad at being friends or who have incompatible friendship styles. If there was someone you felt a good vibe with but time or place never worked out, circle back. I have recently reconnected with a friend from high school this past year. Story 42. Talking openly, especially about unpleasant, scary, and triggering things. Transparency and openness forge relationships. Staying at a surface level kills them. Story 43. Tabletop role-playing game groups. Getting together every week to play Dungeons & Dragons is an incredibly fun time and is one of the easiest ways to form friendships as a nerdy adult. Story 44. Understanding it is hard to have the time we used to and wish we had, but knowing we are still there for each other. Respecting that they are their own person with their own life. Being genuine to who you are as well as to them, and not expecting to appear as something else to other people. Being true to the things you enjoy and care about, and the people you love is a really beautiful thing to see. It is more rare than one would think. It is hard making friends as an adult, but so worth it when you find those special few. Story 45. It was not the wild nights or the big life events that brought us closer. It was the small things done regularly. Sending a message asking how your week is going. Helping with a move. Meeting for coffee for no special reason. In the beginning, showing up often mattered more than having deep conversations. Story 46. Making time to meet each other, even just for coffee, is important. We are all living different lives now, but making an effort to maintain the connection is essential. Story 47. I keep a small circle of friends, the ones I truly feel comfortable with. We have been friends for over a decade, texting almost every day. There were others I drifted away from or had a fallout with because I did not fit in. Life is better and more peaceful without them. Story 48. Being poor together worked pretty well. I think any kind of shared experience, positive or negative, would work. Story 49. Having a shared hobby, board gaming in my case, gave us a reason to meet, something to talk about, and something to do. Story 50. Age does not matter. The recipe is always the same. Be a good friend, and you will have good friends. Story 51. A shared experience of something always helps. It is like trauma bonding but without the trauma. Go out of your comfort zone to do something with someone or a group of people, and that helps greatly. Story 52. Being neurodivergent helped a lot. I found my people who are also neurodivergent, and we just get each other on a different level. We are all really grateful for the little things and tell each other. That helps us feel connected. I was kind of adopted into the friends group. I have no idea how to make friends. Story 53. I met someone on Bumble 9 months ago. That person had recently gone through a tough breakup, and I was swiping left and right. We connected, but it was a long-distance relationship. Things started getting better. That person was very introverted, had trust issues, and took a long time to open up. I, on the other hand, am very extroverted and hyperactive. I became attached and a habitual bond formed. That person took their time to move on and heal properly and eventually entered into a relationship. I was always there, joking around and questioning their life choices because, in 25 years of my life, my instincts have never been wrong about a person or certain relationships. Out of care, I often teased or questioned them. Then, one day, over a minor inconvenience, I was removed from there. Instagram. In a fit of rage, I blocked that person everywhere. It has been almost 20 days now. Honestly, I don't think people truly connect after meeting in their 20s or 30s. The strongest forms of friendship are almost always formed with childhood friends. Story 54. Being genuinely interested and consistent. Checking in often, even with small messages, really builds trust. Story 55. Step 1 was starting with the same group of close friendships I have had since middle school. But mainly staying consistent, checking in on people when they seem to be struggling, making plans to meet with each other occasionally or at least on specific days for all of us to hang out, at least on Discord. I make an effort to play games with my friends or go to lunch or dinner with them. Story 56. I have been thinking deeply about this and have concluded that my actions have not made a difference. The people who wanted to be close to me simply wanted to be. This may be hard to believe, but the effort I put in does not seem to affect how people feel about me. It is disappointing but also liberating because I now know that trying harder will not help. Story 57. Being present and checking in on them. Making sure you are there for them during the good and bad times. Your 20s are hard enough on your own. It is nice to know when people genuinely care. Story 58. Honestly, my strongest friendships came from post-secondary school and my career. It connects you with people who are quite similar to you and dependable, given they are able to hold a career and graduate with a difficult degree. Story 59. I feel like I have made my strongest friendships in my 20s. In fact, about 9 months ago, I made a group of friends who have shown me what nobody has in years. Story 60. I am only friends with relatives, close family friends, and a select number of colleagues and students I have studied with. I will only be friends with people who come from families similar to mine in terms of refinement and class. Story 61. Learn how to be interested and how to show up for others. Have some humility. The right people will gravitate toward you, and those who take will show you who they are early on. Story 62. I do not know what worked for me, but I am the type of friend they can always run to. Though we have a low-maintenance friendship, the bond does not change. They always know that I have their back, and they have mine. Story 63. Knowing each other well, we understand that we do not need to communicate often to maintain our relationship. It is low maintenance. Additionally, most of us are neurodivergent and do not have to mask around each other. Story 64. Helping them, especially in medical situations, such as advising or referring to a doctor, or simply being present when there is a medical issue in their family. They do not forget, and it creates a bond and trust, which is important. Story 65. Being friendly. Keeping my outbursts to a manageable level. Not insulting people. Finding out what insults people to avoid doing that. I knew a lady who was insulted by raised toilet seats, for example, so I never used the bathroom around her. I had a friend who changed their pronouns 3 times, and I lost count or could not keep up, so I just never referred to them in the third person. Story 66. No lying. Say sorry like you mean it and avoid going back to issues we have already resolved. The most important thing is not expecting each other to repeat the same mistake. For example, if I told you I would call and I did not, then I apologize for it, but I made the same mistake after a month or 2, it is totally acceptable. It should not be like, you did the same mistake. We are human and might repeat mistakes, but this does not apply to major mistakes. Story 67. We all met because we smoked marijuana back in 1978, and we are still friends to this day, about 50 of us. We are so lucky. Story 68. The military. When you are forced into the company of others with all their diversity and quirks, you rapidly become tolerant of them, then fond of them. Then you go on a rager in Lisbon, get in a brawl, throw up in a cab, and console your friend because his husband cheated on him while we were overseas. Boom, 8 lifelong friends, easy clap. Story 69. From the moment we met, we were inseparable. We met back when she was in middle school. We had a loyal, honest bond like no other. She moved away after college and made her life, and to this day we are best friends. We both married, had 1 child, and then divorced. We video call each other every other day. If for any reason we stopped talking, the next phone call was like it was yesterday that we last spoke. We have both been there for each other in our toughest moments. Love that lady. Story 70. I did a courtship dance of friendship in a circle around one of my new friends. It seems to have worked well since we are still incredibly close years later. I guess the moral is owning your oddness and not trying to suppress it. Approach with authenticity. Story 71. Putting myself first. Once you figure out how to structure your own life in a way that fulfills you and makes you independently happy, you find much more energy available to give to other people. More practically, think of a hobby or pastime you would do regardless of whether people know you do it. Now do that activity in a way that makes it possible for other people who also enjoy it to organically find you. Do not force anything. Be patient and let time take its course. Story 72. I created a women's circle. I planned enjoyable events and invited other women to join me. Turned out to be amazing, and many of them said they had been waiting for someone to take the lead on something like this. The fact that we all knew we would see each other each month and do something fun and meaningful together helped solidify the group and our bond. I highly recommend it. Story 73. Making the effort to plan ahead for the hangout and not let too much time pass. We often use a film, even if it looks dull, as an excuse to get together, but it is only a 2-hour part of what typically are 10 or so hour hangouts. The details and itineraries of what else we are doing can be worked on closer to the time or last minute. We usually mix it up with food and other shared hobbies and activities. What has really helped us stay close and engaged is being part of a fun and active group chat. Sometimes we just share memes, sometimes we roast each other, and sometimes we share worries about our aging parents. It is rare that more than a day goes by without someone saying something there. Story 74. Relationship and marriage. I realized that I am one of the lucky ones to be able to say this. I like the friends I had from before just fine, about the same as I always have more or less, but I absolutely love being around the people she has brought into my life. With the exception of maybe 3 of my old friends, I have so much more in common with the friends she introduced me to, and I feel like I can be myself. We play strategy board games and Dungeons and Dragons, consume the same media, have a similar sense of humor, and so on. Most important to me is that her friend group is a mix of men and women, something that I never really had. My friends who are women were mostly, but not entirely, my guy friends' wives and girlfriends. While I do love them and consider them true friends, would they be without their relationship to my existing friends? It was not on purpose either. It just happened like that, as it does for many younger men, I imagine. I had never realized how much I missed out on by not having that gender mix until my late 20s. It is very refreshing to not just hang out with the guys. I look forward to hangouts or outings with just her girlfriends. It feels so good to have more than just guys who want to talk about golf around me. I am forever grateful that I was able to find new friends who I fit in with and like so much later in life. If you are not rolling your eyes already, I also love her family. They are a trip. In summary, this reply may not be the best of help, but the relationships you seek may come to you in ways that you never think about. Being yourself is truly one of the best things you can do. It is not easy, but it is a great way to weed through the people you should not spend time with, and those who make you happy you do. Story 75. Be comfortable laughing at each other. Be silly, and enjoy each other's company. Don't have an agenda. If you do, it must be to be friends with the other individual. Story 76. Friendship is hard to maintain when it is not worth keeping. It needs 2 people to cooperate. It is a cliché, but that is the truth. If you give this level of effort, you should receive the same effort you are putting in. If you give respect, you should receive the same level of respect. That is how it should work. Story 77. The key to friendship in your 30s is a mutual understanding that going out now means meeting at 6 p.m. for happy hour instead of midnight shenanigans. Adulting has its perks. Story 78. Talk to people, be yourself, find the balance between not being rude or a pushover, and own up to being wrong. Most importantly, do not fear rejection. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.